have that set up in standard mode. Yes, standard mode. 1 and 2, and we're also going to include in the main scheme deck the hostile takeover and corporate acquisition. Those are both of the main schemes in that risky business encounter deck. Inside the encounter deck is, of course, Risky Business, which is found in the Green Goblin Scenario Pack, and also the Down to Earth modular set that's found in Sinister Motives campaign box. So those are all included in there, along with the standard set that's found in the core. But there's 5 other cards that we're asked to include, which is these are also campaign cards that are found in the Sinister Motives campaign box, and they are called Community Service. They are Off the Rails, and I'm pointing to those now on the screen. Also the Back Alley Burglary. We have Cat in a Tree. I love cats. They do get in trees. The Rubble Rescue and the Henchman Heist. So these are the 5 cards that we are asked to shuffle in this campaign into the encounter deck. So here's those 5 cards. We'll grab those, bring them down, and put them in the encounter deck and give it a nice shuffle. Shuffling the encounter deck. Alright, good. Alright, so that's everything for the encounter deck. The setup also says that each player records their identity in the campaign log. Players cannot switch identities during the campaign. So tonight I'm going to play with one of my favorite characters. Believe it or not, Spectrum. I like Spectrum. I like being able to switch between forms. She has 3 different forms. Let's take a look at her card. Put all 3 energy form upgrades into play face down. I have those down here in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. All 3 of those energy forms. She also says power down. Force response. After you change to this form, turn all your energy form upgrades face down. So how do we get those energy forms into play? Let's look at her hero side. Flip the card, and it says put all energy transformation. Force response. After you change to this energy form, choose a face down energy form upgrade. Flip that card face up to change to that energy form. So whenever we go into hero form, we go grab one of our energy upgrades and we stick it on the table. Alright, good. So that's our identity that we've recorded now in the campaign log. I wrote that in here. And players can't switch identities during a campaign. Well, rules are made to be broken. We'll see what happens. Each player shuffles 1 anti-hero propaganda obligation card into their deck. This card can be found in the Expert campaign set and the Rise of the Red Skull campaign box. So, here it is. Anti-hero propaganda. Your hero gets -1 thwart, -1 attack, -1 defense, alter ego action, take 2 damage, and spend a wild resource to discard this card. Alright, so that gets shuffled into my player deck. You notice it has a different back than all the rest of the hero cards because that's actually an encounter card. It's an obligation that'll pop out on the table. Let me shuffle this deck up. So I do have 40 cards, which are mine, in addition to the 1 encounter card that's in my deck. So let's flip over to our alter ego form. And let's take a look at this Norman Osborn with the hostile takeover. Let's read his main scheme first. So it reads, setup. Put the Criminal Enterprise environment into play, shuffle the encounter deck, and advance to Stage 1B. What is the Criminal Enterprise? It says that the Criminal Enterprise, it is environment, that enters play with 2 infamy counters on it. If there are no infamy counters here, flip Norman Osborn and Criminal Enterprises. So we take off all these tokens that you see on here, and he flips over to his villainous side. So Norman Osborn, he is a villain who is also a businessman and a genius with a scheme of 2. He has a star, which is a force to interrupt when Norman Osborn would attack. Place 1 infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise instead. Force to interrupt when Norman Osborn would take any amount of damage. Remove that many infamy counters from the Criminal Enterprise instead. So again, that Criminal Enterprise comes into play with 2 infamy counters on it because I'm playing in solo today. And there is a few other campaign things to think about here. Let's take a look. It says during gameplay. This is part of the campaign that was written by Steve. It says during the game, anytime any number of infamy counters are added to the Criminal Enterprise environment card, place a mark in the campaign log on the infamy tracker. Okay, so it says when in a solo game and the game begins, the game tells you to add 2 infamy counters, so you'll place a single mark on the infamy counter or infamy tracker at this time. You will never remove a mark from the tracker, even if you remove infamy counters from the environment card. Okay, so we got the environment card. We need a way to track it on screen, so we're going to use this flipped over card right here, and I will add 1 token to that card. That represents our infamy tracker. So anytime that we ever add any kind of tokens onto the criminal enterprise, we will add 1 token over here on the tracker. Okay? Let's flip hostile takeover and see what it has to say on the other side. It says, when completed, place 1 per person infamy counter on criminal enterprise. Then discard 1 card from each player's deck for each infamy counter on criminal enterprise. So to keep that in mind, when completed, we'll have to make sure we read that text, because that is going to, again, add infamy counters, which will add to the track. It also causes us to have to discard cards. Let's look at Norman Osborn one more time. He says that he has that forced interrupt when we place the infamy counter on the criminal enterprise. We do that when we attack. Forced interrupt when Norman Osborn would take any amount of damage, remove the infamy counters from the criminal enterprise. Alright, so we are in our alter ego form. We draw up our hand size of 6. Let's see what we get. We have energy duplication. We also have skilled strike. We draw photon speed. We also draw pitchback and surprise attack. Nice. And skilled strike. Okay, so those are our 6 cards. Would I like to mulligan anything? When I make an attack +2. Thwarting. No. Pitchback. I don't know. I always like surprise attack. And surprise attack is great with her because whenever I flip to another form, I can do 3 damage, and in this case it would remove 2 tokens from the criminal enterprises and flip him to his villainous form. And when I say villainous, he's a villain. When you make an attack, it gets +2 for the attack. So I tell you what, let's take the skilled strikes out for now. Just for now, we'll take those out. We'll mulligan those off. And also photon speed. Yeah, I think I'll get rid of that one. And maybe pitch back. We'll keep the surprise assault and the energy duplication. So we'll discard those cards as part of our mulligan, and we'll draw 4 cards to replace them. Okay, I got Plan B, Yarnborn, Angela, Speed of Light, Surprise Attack, and Energy Duplication. I like the energy duplications, get those out early because that's an extra resource that I can use every turn, so I'm going to put some priority on getting that one out onto the table. And Surprise Attack would also do us not so bad. Yeah, so how about we do this? Let's flip over to our yeah. Let's flip to our hero side, flip the card to our spectrum side, and when we do that, we could play that surprise assault. Yeah, or surprise attack. Surprise assault was a card in Destiny. I gotta remember surprise attack is a card in Spectrum. Alright, we're gonna spend 1 resource when we flipped to the, let's go to the photon. Let's do that. Is that right? Is that the right move? We put gamma out. We'll do a damage. We'll just take 1 off only, though. Surprise attack. We'll do the attack when we flip. Let's do that. Let's put out photon. Okay. And she has a hero response. The card that I play is a hero response. So we're going to play surprise attack when we flip, but let's take care of this hero response before we play that card. So we'll remove 1 threat from hostile takeover because we put photon into play. It says after you change this energy form, remove 1 threat from a scheme, and then with that surprise attack we'll use Plan B to pay for it. After you change form, deal 3 damage to an enemy. And yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So we'll do We'll remove 2 counters from Criminal Enterprises. We're going to discard both of these cards here. That's going to flip Criminal Enterprises. And it's also going to flip Green Goblin. So let's take a look at State of Madness first. It says State of Madness enters play with 2 per player Madness counters on it. If there's no Madness counters here, flip Green Goblin and State of Madness. Okay. And then Green Goblin says, when revealed, deal 3 indirect damage to each player in hero form. So Spectrum takes 3 damage. She goes down to 8. And then he has that forced response when he would scheme. Instead, he takes Madness counters off. Okay. So. Also, I would like to put out that energy duplication. Tell you what, before we do that, let's put out Speed of Light. I don't want to remove threat. I would like to start attacking him though. So if we play Speed of Light, that allows us to change our energy form. So I think I will switch over to the Gamma energy form. We'll visit Gamma's house. Discard Speed of Light. And we get to draw a card when we play that. Change energy form and draw 1 card. So we draw the Dropkick card. Ooh, look at that. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. If you paid for this card using a fist resource, stun that enemy and draw a card. Boy, I'm going to have to use that energy duplication if I want to try to do that. Don't like that too much. We do 1 damage. It says after you change this energy form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So we're going to ping Green Goblin for 1. We're going to attack Green Goblin for 3 because we are +2 attack when we're in our Gamma form. So that takes him down to 10. Do I want to drop kick him and stun him and lose my energy duplication? Or do I want to attempt to take some damage from him and maybe try a drop kick on my next turn? Yeah, I think, or maybe, I think I've got a couple dropkick cards in there. Maybe we'll ignore dropkick for now. Because we could get Yarnborn on the table. So how about we spend dropkick and we spend Angela to put out the energy duplication. So these will both be discarded. And the energy duplication says, exhaust energy duplication, generate the printed resource on your face-up energy form upgrade. So yeah, I think we're going to use that fist resource to put out Yarnborn. And this is a restricted upgrade that says that there's a max of 2 restricted cards per player. After your hero attacks an enemy, spend a fist resource to deal 2 damage to an enemy. I think that's going to be my first turn of the game. I'll F12 it and hand things off back over to Mr. Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin. Look at my hand first. It has the Power of Aggression. Nice. We got a Gamma Blast. That's big. We have Speed of Light, Marvel Boy, and what do you know? Here's another Dropkick card. Okay. So we'll add 1 threat to the hostile takeover. Green Goblin is going to attack Spectrum. We'll take the damage. Deals himself a boost. Flip that card. And it has 2 plus 3 is 5 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage to Spectrum. Okay, Shadows of the Past. Good, we got that out of the way soon in the game. I don't have to worry about that for a little while. And now we'll deal the encounter card. And the encounter card reads, Hired Gun. Choose to either give the villain 1 face-down boost card or place 2 infamy counters on the Criminal Enterprise. Okay, so I can't add infamy counters, so I'm going to have to give Green Goblin a face-down boost card. Okay, Goblin's got that boost card for his next turn. And we've got that hired gun on the table. So here's Spectrum. Let's advance to my turn. Okay, we've got the Gamma Blast. It says change to Gamma energy form and deal 7 damage to an enemy. If you are already in Gamma energy form, this attack gains overkill. So here is a way to changing forms. After you change this form, choose a face down energy form upgrade. Flip that card face up to that energy form. How about we do this? We're going to start off because we are +2 on our attack. I got the Gamma Blast. Generate the printed resource on your face up energy form upgrade. I could put the other one out too. Let's do this. Spectrum is going to attack for 3 onto the hired gun. We'll discard the hired gun because that's going to knock all of his health out. Knocks all of his health out. And now we will... Do I spend the resource? Yeah, I think I'll use the energy duplication to duplicate that fist resource to, after your hero attacks an enemy with a, spend a resource to deal 2 damage to the enemy. So we're going to do 2 more damage to the Green Goblin. Gamma Blast. That would cost 3. 3 to do the Gamma Blast. Let's do this first. We're going to do Speed of Light. Speed of Light allows us to change energy forms and draw a card. So we're going to flip to our Photon form. And I draw a card. And when Photon energy form comes into play, it says after you change to this energy form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. So we'll take 1 threat off. Now, do we Gamma Blast the Green Goblin? Do we drop kick the Green Goblin? Do we put Bug on the table? I have choices. I have 2 resources. I could put Bug on the table, and then that would give me 2 more resources to put out. Tell you what, let's do some damage. We're going to do this Gamma Blast. We're going to spend 3 resources to do that. So it's going to be Marvel Boy, Drop Kick, and Bug to do 7 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 damage to the Green Goblin. We'll discard the Gamma Blast, and we'll get rid of those resources we used to pay for it. So that brings Green Goblin down to 1. So he's going to scheme, but again, remember that when he schemes, if there are no madness counters here, flip Green Goblin. So he's going to scheme, and it says that he would remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness instead. I'm going to take my chances. I'm going to flip over to my alter ego form. I will lose Photon if I do. And let's see, was that an attack event that I could use that Yarnborn for? Yeah, it says after your hero attacks an enemy, spend 1. You know what though? I don't want to flip him just yet. That would be bad. That would knock me out. So Marvel, we're just going to ignore that. I was thinking about using Yarnborn, but that would have knocked Green Goblin out. He flips and does damage, and we'll just ignore that for now. So energy duplication, Yarnborn, Monica Rambeau. I think that's everything that I'm going to do on my turn. I'm going to F12 and F12 again, which will ready Monica Rambeau. Wow, I dealt myself a lot of cards. I got too many cards this time. I think I pushed it twice, thinking I needed to. Let me put some cards back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So, Green Goblin. Let's look at what we got. Power of Aggression. energy duplication. We got that surprise attack, pulsar shield, speed of light, and strength. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 good cards. And we'll turn things over to the Green Goblin. So he adds 1 to the hostile takeover. Instead of scheming, he's going to remove 1 counter from State of Madness. And then he deals himself an encounter card, right? That's all he does. Scheme, remove 1 madness counter. Okay. Deals himself a card. This is his encounter card, and it reads Collapsing Bridge. It reads, it has a crisis icon on it, and that's it. That's all it is. It's a crisis icon. There's text if there's a boost, otherwise it's just a crisis icon. I think that's fine. 2 threat on there. Yeah. I'll take it. F12. That'll end the Green Goblin's turn. Can't remove threat from hostile takeover while the collapsing bridge is on the table. So, Monica Rambo, she's going to heal for 3. That brings her up to 6. I wish there was a better way to heal, but there is not. Let's flip her to her hero side, and we'll bring out the Gamma card. We'll go visit Grandma's house. Gamma. Hi, Gamma. Alright, so we're going to do 1 damage to Green Goblin. And that knocks Green Goblin stage 1 out, because when we flip this form, we deal 1 damage to an enemy, right? Good. Let's discard him, and that brings Goblin 2 out into play, and it tells us to deal 4 indirect damage to each player. I don't have anybody to absorb that for me, so that's going to drop her down to 3. And he has a forced interrupt on Green Goblin with Scheme, remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness. We need to find a way to protect ourselves, because he's got an attack of 4. And as we learned in my last game, there are some 3 boost cards in that encounter deck. Pulsar Shield. This is a win defend card. Now we did flip to our Gamma form, and so we could do some damage. We could spend a fist resource if we have it, which we do with energy duplication, correct? Yeah. Alright, okay. So energy duplication, we'll use that, because we have that fist resource on the table now, to play Surprise Assault, which will do 4 damage, 1, 2, 3, 4, to Mr. Green Goblin. Discard that. Speed of Light. Energy duplication. Let's do Speed of Light. We'll go grab her Pulsar energy form. By playing that Speed of Light card. Change energy forms and draw a card. Draw a card. And then we read on Pulsar, it says after you change to this energy form, heal 1 damage from Spectrum. So we'll heal for 1. And we already drew our card. Pulsar Shield, energy duplication. I do think that we will put the energy duplication out there on the table. Spend our 2 strength for that. Maybe. Or do we spend both of the Power of Aggression cards? Yep, let's do that instead. We'll hang on to strength. We'll use both of our Power of Aggression cards. We have Pulsar on the table. She's +2 defense. Defense of 3, 4, 5. And did I heal one? Let me look and see. Add 1 hit point to Spectrum. Yeah, looks like I did add 1 hit point to Spectrum. Pulsar Shield, when Spectrum defends, change to Pulsar Energy Form, Ready Spectrum. If you are already in Pulsar Energy Form, she gains Retaliate until the end of the phase. I may have done it to myself again. I may have left myself vulnerable because he has a big attack with an extra boost card. Not thinking ahead, are we? Oh boy. Well, let's see what we draw. Oh, let's just F12. Easier. I have Photon Speed, Blue Marvel, Strength, Pulsar Shield, and Def Focus. Hostile Takeover. Add 1. Green Goblin attacks. I defend for 1. +2 is 3. I'm defending for 3. Deal a boost card. Here's the other boost card. Cat in the Tree did me in again. For sure, I think I'm busted this time. Pulsar Shield. Let's see if that does anything for me. When Spectrum defends, change to Pulsar Energy Form and Ready Spectrum. If you are already in Pulsar Energy Form, she gains Retaliate until the end of the phase. So yeah, Cat in the Tree did me in again today. Second time. Actually, it didn't happen earlier today. I misdid the math. I ended the game a lot sooner earlier, thinking that I had lost because I don't know the difference between 7 hit points and 8 hit points. But in this case, Green Goblin's going to attack me for 4 +3 plus another 1. And this one says place 1 infamy counter on Criminal Enterprises if you cannot remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness. So that would have flipped anyway. Yeah. Oh, is that right? Place 1 infamy counter if you cannot remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness. Yeah, so State of Madness was getting ready to flip. Green Goblin was getting ready to flip. I wish he would have flipped sooner. Now, here's a question. Does he flip whenever that card comes out, thus canceling the attack? Ooh. So I drew this card first. Place 1 infamy counter on Criminal Enterprise. If you cannot, 1 madness counter on State of Madness. Remove 1 counter. So this says State of Madness, flip Green Goblin and State of Madness. So it would have been right then that would have flipped when I drew that card and read the text. And then Green Goblin would have flipped. Remove 1 madness counters for madness, State of Madness. So then Norman Osborn's attack is 0 +3 +1 would be 4. And I was sitting at 3. So is that how it works? I do have to add 1 counter here because I placed counters on Criminal Enterprise. But when that payoff hit, place 1 infamy counter, I couldn't. I took the madness counter. So don't you resolve that special boost first before you count up your attack? I'm going to say you do, because whenever it took the token off of State of Madness, it flipped Criminal Enterprises. Let me see what the response is there. Yeah, I think I'm still alive. So now Osborn is going to attack. He's got a boost of 3 and 1. So the question is would he, now that he's flipped over into his businessman side, the all business side, place 2 infamy counters on Criminal Enterprises instead? That's a forced interrupt. Tell you what, Let's add 2 counters onto criminal enterprises instead, and we'll discard these cards. And if I play that wrong, hey, so be it. But I do think that you take care of those boost cards before you count up, or you take care of those special boost icons, those stars, before you add up your boost, right? So that caused it to flip, which meant his attack changed. I think I'm good, and if I'm wrong, hey, I'm a villain. You know, I cheat. Now I'm a hero, cheaty hero. That's what I am, cheaty hero. So I like it. We'll leave it. We'll keep going. I lost a game earlier today prematurely. Maybe this one I'm extending without merit. But anyhow, Norman Osborn's out. The criminal enterprise. He added. So I got to do it. I got to add another token to the tracker here. Yeah. Good. Pulsar, depth focus, photon, blue marble, strength. Osborn, so I got to do 4 damage now to the criminal enterprises to flip Norman Osborn, and I'm still in pretty bad shape here. It would be nice if I could remove some threat. So it says change to photon energy form and remove 4 threat from a scheme. If you're already in photon energy form, ignore the crisis icon. How can I do that? How can I make that happen? I want to remove threat from collapsing bridge first, and then remove threat from the hostile takeover. So if I flip to the photon form, hero response, after you change this energy form, remove 1 threat from a scheme. Can't remove threat from hostile takeover while that 2 threat is there. I do have blue marble. Yeah, that's my guy. Blue marble. How about it? We'll put blue marble out on the table. And we will use energy duplication. Just think about that for a second. How do we want to pay for them? 2 strength and an energy duplication? Yeah. 2 strength, energy duplication to put out blue marble. Blue marble has pretty good hero response, and he says after blue marble enters play, change energy forms. So we'll take and put out our gamma form. Alright. When we flip to our gamma form, it reads, after you change this form, deal 1 damage to an enemy. So that'll take 1 damage off of criminal enterprises. Blue marble is going to thwart 2 threat off of the collapsing bridge, which will discard it. Now we can play, let's put depth focus out onto the table using the pulsar shield. Depth focus. Using the pulsar shield. And then since photon speed is a superpower and depth focus works with superpowers, it says exhaust depth focus, reduce the resource cost of the next superpower card you play this turn by 1. We could exhaust energy duplication, play photon speed, reducing the cost by depth focus, change to photon energy form, and remove 4 threat from a scheme. If you're already in photon energy form, ignore the crisis icon for this thwart. Oh, so I could have done it probably earlier without actually needing to put out blue marble, but that forced me to put out blue marble. because that would have allowed me to ignore it. That's fine. So we're going to flip to our photon. There we go. Put gamma back. Put pulsar back for now. Photon comes into play, and we're going to remove all this threat. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And now, did I flip this turn? Can I flip down? I don't think I want to. I think what we'll do is just ready everything. Right? Stay in energy, stay in hero form. And we drew Throg, Photon Speed, Hulk, Energy, and Genius. Alright. Place 1 threat on Hostile Takeover. Norman Osborn. When Norman Osborn would take any amount of damage, remove that many infamy counters from criminal enterprises instead. Wait a second. No. When Norman Osborn would attack, place 2 infamy counters on criminal enterprises. So it goes up to 5. And now we draw our encounter card. Oh, we gotta move up our track. Our encounter card reads Common Criminal. Alter Ego action. Spend a fist resource. Deal 3 damage to a common criminal. If this minion is defeated this way, choose to either draw 1 card or remove 3 threat from a side scheme. And it has Surge. Surges into Oscorp Manufacturing. When revealed, Norman Osborn. Place an additional 1 threat here. So 3 threat total. Onto Oscorp Manufacturing. And that will end the villain stage, villain phase, and switches us over to our hero phase. So I have a Hulk. I have a Throg. Throg would come out into play with a toughness card on him. I also have Photon Speed. I can remove threat from Oscorp Manufacturing. Which I think I need to do. We have Blue Marvel still. And I've got some extra resources and things to pay for stuff and things. I could flip. Right? Is there a way to flip? No, no way to flip to my gamma form. So at this point I could just thwart Oscorp Manufacturing using my Spectrum ability. And exhaust energy duplication, generate the printed resource of your face-up energy form upgrade. So if I flip down to alter ego form, I'll no longer be able to use those 2 resources. Lots of money and not enough stuff to do. I could attack the common criminal with Spectrum. What good would that do? I could use Yarnborn to add to the damage and knock him out. But I don't get to use the ability on the card, which I won't anyway because I don't have anything down here. Don't have anything of worth to pitch at him now to take advantage of that alter ego action. So, since I'm authority thwart, we'll do that. We'll get rid of the Oscorp Manufacturing. Discard it. Doesn't scheme. So common criminal could exist in alter ego form and just not really do anything. Hostile takeover, I probably need to take care of some of that. So I'll bring Throg out into play, spending I'll use both my energy duplications to put Throg out. He comes into play with a toughness card on him because we got that minion on the table. So he's tough. Common criminal. Throg could remove a threat off of the hostile takeover. I'll have to forfeit my tough card for him to do that. Okay, hostile takeover's clear. And I do think I'm going to flip. Let's go ahead and put our Hulk out. Use our energy resource. Let's see which one is more valuable, mental or energy. Discard our energy, keep our mental. Hulk could attack that common criminal, or he could remove 3 threat off of criminal enterprises, but I will have to draw a card which could do damage to more than I want to have happen. So why don't we do this first? Blue Marvel is going to attack criminal enterprises and knock it down. Ooh. I don't want to flip though. I don't have enough. Oh no, we're at the end. Yeah, but if he flips, yeah, I don't have enough health to handle that. Although I could absorb it with Hulk. I could absorb a lot of damage with Hulk, unless he draws the wrong card. It's only a game, right? Blue Marvel. Do I play reckless and just start smashing with Hulk, or do I play a little bit more conservative and flip over to my alter ego form? Hulk smash. Alright. Okay, 3 off. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's gonna cause criminal enterprises to flip. And this is a forced response. Let me read Hulk's forced response. After Hulk attacks, discard the top card of your deck. If that card's printed resource has 2, as a fist, deal 2 damage to an enemy. Energy, 1 damage to each character. Mental, discard Hulk. All of the above. So forced response, what would happen first? Would a forced response happen first? Or would this text that simply says, if there are no infamy counters here, flip Norman Osborn and criminal enterprises? Let's do Hulk first, because we know it's an obligation and it has no icon on it whatsoever. Anti-hero propaganda comes into play. Your hero gets -1 thwart, -1 attack, and -1 defense. Alter ego action, take 2 damage. Spend a that is a wild resource to discard this card. I don't have any wild resources in my hand. So that's what we drew. Discard the top card of your deck. And so does that get discarded, or does it come into play? I think it just gets discarded. Doesn't actually come into play, right? Yeah, it just gets discarded. It didn't get drawn into my hand. So that's perfect timing for Hulk to do the 3 damage. Now we can flip the criminal enterprise, and it adds the 2 to State of Madness. Flip Green Goblin, and he says he deals, let's see, how much to each player? Deal 4 indirect damage to each player. So Hulk can take, he's got to take 1 consequential damage. He can take 1, 2, 3, and Throg could take 1, and then I don't have to take any damage at all whatsoever. I have 9 cards left in my deck. I'll draw up at least 5 of them if I discard Photon Speed, which is what I think I'm going to do. So yeah, we'll flip to our alter ego form. Discard Photon. It comes over here. Discard Photon Speed. And if I played that hero propaganda wrong, I thought whenever you draw the card is whenever you play the card on the table, but we didn't actually draw it into our hand. We discarded it to look to see what icon would have been on it. So that was probably perfect timing for Hulk. unless I botched that up, and I'm not going to stop and take a look at the rule book. I'll look at it later, or somebody can drop it in the comments below. Alright, so I think that's the end of my turn. There's nothing else I can do. We're going to flip over to his hero side, or the villain. We're going to turn things over to the villain. We've got Gamma Blast, that's good. We've got Spider Girl. We've got Surprise Attack. We may be able to pull off a pretty decent attack on our next turn if we can get some stuff to happen here. So, Hostile Takeover, add 1. He's going to scheme, but instead he's going to remove 1 madness counter from State of Madness. And then the common criminal is going to scheme for 0. So we'll go ahead and take care of that now. 0. Let's look and see what we get. We got... Oh no. I've never hated... No, that's fine. I think it's going to be fine. When this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. So all we got to do is knock out that private security specialist. All we got to do for 4 damage. I've got Throg and Blue Marvel that could handle 4 damage on him. We also have Sunfire that can come out into play. Spider Girl, we can flip to our... Yeah, I think we might be able to do this one. Alright. And we got Hulk. And we have a Hulk to finish things off. Common Criminal. We could ignore him. I really don't want to use my surprise attack. Yeah. Or maybe I do. I could use a surprise attack. Spend a fist resource, deal 3 damage, and draw a card. Yeah, let's do it. Let's use the surprise attack to do the 3 damage to the common criminal. That knocks him out. But I gotta spend... No, I don't have to spend a resource for that. Discard the card. Surprise attack is discarded. And we get to draw a card, which is another Gamma Blast. 1, 2, 3. I can do 2 Gamma Blasts onto Green Goblin now. So all I have to do is Blue Marvel is going to attack the Security Specialist. Throg is also going to attack the Security Specialist, which that will finish off the Security Specialist. It will also discard Blue Marvel. Discard Throg. And then, yeah, flip over to our other form. Flip over to our hero form. Brings out Gamma. We'll do 1 damage to Green Goblin. We bring out Gamma. Alright. We'll have a Gamma Blast go off. We'll use the Death Focus to reduce it by 1. And then we have energy duplications to cause that Gamma Blast to go off. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 7 damage, right? Yep. Gamma Blast is done. We'll have another Gamma Blast. We could put Sunfire on the table. Yeah, let's put... Yeah, what am I talking about? Sunfire on the table. Let's just do the other Gamma Blast. Get this thing over with. Get out of this game and finally win one. Yep, Gamma Blast. We'll use 2 Genius and 1 Pulsar Shield. Discard that. And before we do that, we'll just exhaust Spectrum to remove that threat off of the hostile takeover. Because I don't know if that makes a difference in the campaign or not to clear the board. And then we'll do the Gamma Blast for the 3. Yeah. And that'll knock Green Goblin all the way down to 0. Okay. Been a while since I've looked at this myself. It says record the number of victory points and the victory display on the campaign log under the public relations location. Let's see, did I knock out anything? Let me look at my discard pile. I may have sent everything to the discard pile. I don't think there was anything with a victory point on it, though. Oscorp Manufacturing, Collapsing Bridge, Payoff, Cat in the Tree. Oh, there's Cat in the Tree. That was used as a boost. Volunteer work. Yeah. That's all the, right? Yeah. Yeah, I only drew side schemes that had no victory points on them. So record the number of victory points in the victory display on the campaign log under public relations location. So I'm looking at the victory log. Sorry I don't have the PDF up here to show you all what I'm looking at, but there's a victory log here. Public relations, we have no points. We have no victory points at all whatsoever. And then it tells us to be sure that you've updated the infamy counter tracker during gameplay. So yeah, we've got 4 on our tracker. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we marked all of those. So yeah, unless I've done something terribly out of line, it looks like I may have actually won a game of Marvel Champions in solo mode for the first time in I don't know how long. It's been a while. Feels like. At least today. So thanks for watching my video playthrough of the Bad Business custom campaign for Marvel Champions living card game made by Steve. You may remember Steve from shows such as Critical Encounters podcast. He made this custom campaign. It's pretty fun, and I'm sure he's made it available out there for the public, for anyone to download and be able to play themselves. If not, we'll see if that can happen. But anyway, thanks for watching today, and I appreciate you joining me for this playthrough, whether you watched it live or whether you watched it after the fact. But I hope to bring you another video again very soon, and have a good evening, my friends. Bye.